What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Can you use a 5 or 6 years old Samsung flagship phone, and should you buy a Galaxy Note 5 in 2021, or is it still worth using? And it will be very interesting if you are still using one. And yeah, no doubt this was a very good smartphone in the industry. It was released back in 2015 and it was the time when Samsung just adopted this glass and metal design language for the first time after the Galaxy S6, which was released in April 2015. And I think it was probably the time when Samsung phones got a big hype all over the world. And yeah, these type of phones were very attractive to new consumers, and it still looks very premium and beautiful. It was a major change from the previous Note 4, which had removable plastic back and also removable battery. And yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want to see how a Note 4 looks in 2021. So the Note 5 has this big gorgeous looking display, which is even still far better than many phones, and it was the biggest selling point of this phone, I think, along with its very premium build. It is 5.7 inches Quad HD 1440p screen with 500 plus ppi, and yeah, it is Super AMOLED, very colorful, bright and contrasty, and this screen is flat, which I think looks even better. So this is an extraordinary screen, and it is still very suitable for at least watching YouTube videos or movies on it. And speaking of the overall design, I think this just doesn't feel like such an old device. It looks and feels much premium and modern. The curved back makes it very comfortable to hold, and there are so many different points where the design is intended to be very premium or look premium, like the chamfered edges of the frame and also the camera hump, and also this small steel ring around these sensor and flashlight. And same on the front, there is this shiny ring around the fingerprint, and these side bezels are very thin. So these are the small things which makes a design perfect, I think. And Samsung is leader in this department. Like all Samsung phones have always best industrial designs. Speaking of the specs, it has Samsung Exynos octa-core processor, which was great at that time. But yeah, these old Samsung processors are very bad, especially in terms of battery life. It gets so hot and drains battery much faster, and I guess there are no Snapdragon variants for this Note 5, so all models have Exynos processors. It has 4GB of RAM, and RAM management is also terrible, and the TouchWiz UI is ugly as well as laggy, so performance is very affected. But yeah, it was one of the best smartphone available in terms of the performance at that time, and now I would say it's still pretty usable, and you can use it for social media and watching videos like YouTube videos and movies. But other than that, it's not the phone for 2021. And you can get this very inexpensive, like around $100, and I think it's still a very reasonable price for a phone which is still usable, at least for basics and media stuff like videos, movies watching. And also you can keep it as your second phone, and it can make phone calls, and the call quality is still excellent. But you may have some sort of frustration with your battery, and yeah, this is the area where I would not recommend this phone for those people who keep their phone in the pocket all day and just don't get a charger during the day, and because this phone simply has terrible battery endurance. The battery life is very short, like 2 hours or 2.5 hours on an average screen on time, with poor standby time. But if you replace the battery from a service center, then you might get around 3 to 3.5 hours of screen on time, which is still not sufficient these days. And this phone has reportedly below average to bad battery life from the beginning because of the poor RAM management of TouchWiz and more power hungry Exynos processor, and also smaller capacity battery, which is 3000 milliamps, and that is very small for a 5.7 inches such a bright colorful screen. Speaking of the TouchWiz, this is running the Android 7 Nougat with TouchWiz skin on the top, and yeah, it is pretty outdated Android version, and Samsung just didn't support these devices. But yeah, the good news is Samsung will be supporting new devices. I don't know what's the reason this was stopped at Android 7, although this hardware is very capable, I think. And this Android 7 is very lagging and showing its age in front of the new, more power, RAM and storage hungry apps. And that's pretty much visible when you are using it. There is loading time in opening the apps, there are lags, and the phone is just making your hand fry when holding in the hand with some heavy tasks, which results in very fast battery drain as well. You can flash custom One UI ROM on this, but that has some bugs bugs and limitations like camera not working and mic also, and there are some other issues as well. But yeah, the custom ROMs work fine on this, and I have used One UI ROM with Android 9 for a while, but that also didn't change my experience on this phone except the One UI icons. The camera on this phone was one of the best smartphone cameras at that time. It is a 16 megapixel sensor with OIS, and pictures from this camera were very sharp and clear with good dynamic range, and it is still a very decent camera, but it also lacks many features which are present in new smartphone cameras now, and it is definitely not a 2021 camera. The video quality is also very good. It is capable of shooting 4K video, and video was also very decent, so it was overall a very complete camera package for almost all types of people at that time. The selfie camera was also very good at that time. I personally just loved this camera so much, but yeah, its time has passed and we are now here in 2021 where I think no one would be happy with this camera. It is a big size phone and it has an S Pen with which you can draw on your phone and your phone screen, and the whole thing is very interesting and very useful for some people. But I personally still don't use something called the S Pen very often, and yeah, there you have it. It also has a very reliable and somehow fast fingerprint sensor. It has Samsung Health with heart rate sensor, blood oxygen sensor, and no any expandable storage, a very loud single speaker which is still louder and better than many mid-range speakers, a notification LED which is something rare nowadays, and no Bixby button which is an extra convenience. And also it is a very durable phone. I mean, it is solid and can manage slight drops as well. The color on the frame is very hard to be removed even using it without any case. There are some scratches on the front and back, and again it's a very solid durable phone. There is this problem of the screen glass peeling off the panel, and I have seen a lot of phones with the same issue. I don't know what's the reason. The camera protecting glass also gets a lot of scratches I have seen on many phones, but overall it's a durable phone. So should you still use it? Definitely not, yes, because of so many reasons, but you can use it as your second phone or entertainment phone at your home, like for movies or video watching, or also if you just make some phone calls and text messages all the day, then you can use it with some light social media usage as well. But other than that, it is pretty much not recommended from my side. And if you are using it, I think it would be very interesting to know. So let me know in the comments below if you are using it right now and how is your Note 5 still holding up. And also let me know what's the reason you are still using this beast from the past. And again, thank you so much guys for watching. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the like. I will see you in the next one.